Welcome back to Wintario, coming to you tonight live from Niagara Falls. And if you'd like more information about the Niagara region or any vacation area in Toronto or Ontario, all you have to do is call Toronto 965-4008, or outside Toronto, call toll-free 1-800-268-3735. Now it's time for our popular scramble draw, and for this draw, if you can match 6 digits in any order at all, then you automatically win $50. So good luck to you. And Roy, we need all those 6 machines rolling this time. Greg Beresford, we have a special guest this time.
We certainly do. This is Mr. James Allen, who from 1958 to 66, you were treasurer of Ontario. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, sir.
Delightful to be here.
One of the things that I wasn't aware of until recently was Victoria Park. Tell me about, where is it, first of all, and what is it like, the gardens?
It's just over the fence. And it's the central part of the scenic right at the falls, and it's really, we take great pride in it, and we think that we keep it nice, and we get a great many compliments on the state of the grounds and the flowers. We're visited, of course, by 12 million people in a year, and it's surprising the compliments we get. People like the park atmosphere.
I'm sure. The daffodils I saw were amazing.
Well, the daffodils were...
Thank you very much. Mr. Allen, we have to get down to business here. We have some money to give away. This is the button we'd like you to press. And how would you like to wish everyone in Ontario good luck here?
Well, I would like to wish everyone good luck. Is there any way that everyone could benefit? Well, everyone does benefit from Wintario.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. We certainly all do.
All right.
Away we go.
Thank you, Mr. James Allen. You're right. Everyone does win on Wintario in one way or another. By pushing that button, though, this is the win for our scramble draw worth $50. And this is during our special 1-hour Yours to Discover show tonight from Niagara Falls. And we're just waiting for 2 red lights to stop flashing. Now just 1, because we need all 6 digits to complete our scramble draw this time. Remember, we still have our grand prizes, our windfall, our mystery bonus prize, as well as 2 special bonus draws tonight for a vacation in Ontario. We have an 8, so look for an 8 anywhere on your ticket for our scramble draw. Also look for a 4. Another number you need is a 9 with a dot under the 9. And another 4. You'll need 2 4s for your scramble win. You'll need 3 4s. One more number. It's a 3. So if you have an 8, 4, 9, 4, 4, 3 in any order, then you've just won $50 on the scramble draw. Congratulations so far to all of our winners. Mary, will you please reload those 6 machines? We're going to finally move into our grand prize draws. And of course, our first one is for $10,000, all tax-free, if you can match all 6 digits. So once again, we need those machines rolling. Roy? Greg Beresford, who do we have?
Okay, let's find out. What is your name and who did you bring with you?
My name is Carrie, and this is my cousin Anthony and my Aunt Wendy.
Who's behind you?
Winnie the Bear.
Oh, you know him, do you?
Yep.
You think he might bring you luck on this?
I don't know.
Let's try it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You never know where you'll find Winnie the Bear, so always look behind you at a Wintario draw. This is $10,000 happening right now. Frida Farkas of Willowdale won $10,000 on June the 16th, and Albert Dube of King Kirkland won $10,000 on June the 2nd. Right now we have a 2. Following that, we have a 7. You can tell we're outdoors. These bugs are for real, Mary. And a 1. Following that, we have a 6 with a dot under the 6. And a 0. From the last machine, we have another 9 with a dot under the 9. So if you have a 271609 in that order, then you've just won $10,000. Congratulations to the 5 possible winners of $10,000. Mary, if you'll reload those 6 machines again. The Oaks Garden Theater we're in tonight is just a small part of a system of parks and attractions that run the whole length of the Niagara River, and it's all operated by the Niagara Parks Commission, an agency of the Ontario government, and they invite you to not only come and stop and look at the view, but also to step back into history.
That is the very distinctive skyline of Buffalo, New York behind me. Now, to the average American, this is the spot where western New York gives way to the vast expanses of the great Canadian North. But to the average American of 1812, this was the jumping-off spot for a war, a bloody one that lasted 3 years, and that is the War of 1812. And that's why they built Old Fort Erie. Today, the old fort comes alive, with young cadets reenacting the battles of old. But during the war years, it was the site of bitter conflict and a long British siege that saw 2,000 casualties. Fascinating place. Old Fort Erie has been reconstructed to recall that stormy period of our history. Well, we had to reconstruct it. You see, before the Americans finally left and went home, they blew the place up. The Niagara Parkway begins at Fort Erie and runs north all the way to Niagara-on-the-Lake, and it is a beautiful trip any way you do it. The Parkway is 56 kilometers of terrific scenery and fascinating history, too. On the stretch between Fort Erie and Niagara Falls, you're by the river's edge all the way. Try to imagine the battle-weary British and American troops along this route a century and a half ago as they were driven back and forth by the changing fortunes of war. You can almost feel the force of the Great Falls several miles upstream. There's a certain suspense in the air. Once the parkway passes through Chippewa, it's not long before you reach the mighty cataracts themselves. North of the falls, Mother Nature and the Niagara Parks Commission have really laid on the attractions. To start with, there's the magnificent Niagara Gorge and the whirlpool carved out of the rock by centuries of relentless rushing water. Just downstream is the floral clock, which blooms in different colors throughout the season. And next to that, the lilac garden extends an irresistible welcome to the springtime visitor. That brings us to Brock's Monument, the tall tribute to the brave general that crowns Queenston Heights. General Sir Isaac Brock was in command of the British forces and their allies when they retook these heights from the American invaders. But it was to be Brock's last battle because he gave his life for the country he had so courageously defended. Today, people from both sides of the river, and many other countries as well, come to enjoy this beautiful park. The promise of music on a long summer evening brings out a steady crowd every Sunday. And incidentally, this is the starting point for the Bruce Trail. You can hike along the Niagara Escarpment all the way to Georgian Bay, but you'd better pack enough sandwiches to last about 3 weeks. One day back in 1813, a group of American Army officers commandeered a house in Queenston. They were making plans for a surprise attack on the British about 20 miles away. But there was one thing they didn't count on, and that was the courage of the lady who lived in the house. Her name was Laura Secord. The following day, Laura became one of Canada's greatest heroines. She set off alone into the forest on the pretext of visiting a sick relative. Well, 19 exhausting miles later, she delivered her warning to the British commander at Tequio House, and he and his men turned the tables on the Americans. As the parkway leads you along the river toward Lake Ontario, try some of the fresh produce available at the fruit stands along the way. You name it, they grow it. Actually, the real reason I planned this trip to end in Niagara-on-the-Lake is because they have more ice